This is D, and Let's Dress for Life. That's what's up. Chanel Lewis is a suspect in the murder of Karina Vetrano. She was a young lady who was going for a jog in August of 2016 when she was abducted and murdered. He remains in jail at Rikers Island after a mistrial was declared back in November of 2018. According to the New York Post, he was complaining that the corrections officers were encouraging inmates to beat him up. He was also complaining that male reproductive fluid, was found on his cups as the female guards were handing him his water. This can be found to be disturbing, period. But interestingly enough, what really disturbed me was the response of individuals who were commenting. Their comments were venomous, hateful, and downright devilish. But I just have three questions for them. The first question is, what if he's innocent? I know many of you are like, what if he's innocent? Let me tell you right now, my brother, let me tell you right now, my sister, there is not enough ink in my pen to write out all the names of the individuals that we know were wrongly convicted, were wrongly imprisoned, and were later released. Think about the West Memphis Three. How about the East Cleveland Three? Do you remember the Wilmington 10? There's no way that you can forget the Central Park 5. And then, of course, we have the Illinois 20. From the period of 1976 until 1999, there were 20 inmates who were exonerated. By the way, 20 inmates who were on Illinois' death row were exonerated of the crimes that they were charged with. And after considering this, the Republican Governor George Ryan decided to place a moratorium on executions in that state. So sadly, it can be true that just because a person is charged, is convicted, is imprisoned, does not mean that that person necessarily committed a crime. But the second question I have is, will those inmate behaviors that you condone transfer to behaviors in the free world? Not every inmate is in prison for the rest of his life or the rest of her life. Many are coming out. And just imagine an inmate that you're okay with him excreting his reproductive fluid onto Chanel Lewis's food and Chanel Lewis's water, actually gets a job at the restaurant that you're eating at. And because remember, many of those same individuals who are complaining about Chanel Lewis are individuals who are not interested in felons getting good jobs. So what type of jobs are those felons going to get? More than likely, they're going to be working some hard labor jobs, maybe at a construction site, maybe some type of road crew, or maybe at the restaurant where you're eating tonight. You had a hard day at work and you decide, I'm not cooking anything. I don't want anything from home. I just want to go out to a restaurant. And because you couldn't take your anger or your frustration out on your boss or your supervisor, you decide to be rude. You decide to be impatient to the wait staff. And this waitress goes to her buddy or her boyfriend, the cook. The cook, that's the felon. And by the way, I'm not saying all felons are doing this. But this is the felon that you wanted for him to send out his reproductive fluid on that inmate who deserved it. He doesn't stop at the prison. He decides, hey, one wrong person is a wrong person. So I might as well deal with this wrong person in the free world the same way that I dealt with the wrong person in the big house. So she brings your food back, or she brings you your food, period. And that food with that creamy Italian sauce might have some extra seasoning. Don't think that that behavior that is on the inside is going to stay on the inside. And then the third question: how will you want to be treated if you wound up in similar circumstances? In this day and age, it doesn't take much for an individual to get involved with the system. Whether you're wrongfully or rightfully convicted, how do you want the cops or the corrections officers to deal with you? And today, it doesn't matter whether you're African American, Hispanic American, or European American. When they deal with you, they're going to deal with you like you're African American. That's a sad reality. I tell you, there was this one brother European American brother who came to our church, and he shared the situation for him. A relative of his with mental health issues was locked up. Up to that point, he had only like small charges, just misdemeanor charges. He had a situation with a prison guard. And let me tell you, my brother, let me tell you, my sister, the prison guard dealt with him like he was a rag doll, like he was a punching bag. And I mean, just destroyed him. A few weeks later, he actually had to go to court. His family members went to court to see him and to support him. Who went to court to meet the parents, to meet the family members? Two of the prison guards. And how is it that those prison guards dealt with the family members? They spoke with the family members as if they were felons. They spoke with the family members, letting them know, yeah, we beat him, we kicked him, we punched him, we busted out his teeth. We inflicted as much pain on him as we could. I ask again, how will you want to be treated if you end up in a situation like that? I hope you keep in mind this statement, and this statement comes from Abraham Lincoln. And he said, quote, "I have always found that mercy bears richer fruits than strict justice." End quote. Keep that in mind as you consider the situation with Chanel Lewis. And not just for the sake of Chanel Lewis, but just in case you might end up as being another Chanel Lewis. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Also, click the notification bell so you can be notified of our next video. Lastly, go to www.destressmethod.com for more resource information. Well, that's all we got for now. This is D, and Less Stress for Life. That's what's up. Peace.